Good morning, students. This is Keith Burgess-Jackson, your professor for ethics this semester. Today is Tuesday, 19 January 2021. If you've been to UTA before, welcome back. If this is your first semester at UTA, welcome. I've been here a long time. In fact, in May, when the semester's over, I will have completed 32 years of teaching at UTA. And I also taught for 1 year at Texas A&M before coming to UTA. I have taught ethics many times. In fact, I have a note here in my notebook. These two ethics courses that I'm teaching this semester are my 55th and 56th ethics courses. I typically teach 2 ethics sections each spring, so you can see that I've been at it for well over 2 decades. I enjoy it tremendously. Nobody makes me teach ethics. I happily teach it every year. Believe it or not, I learn something new every time I teach it. It's a remarkable field. It's one of the main branches of one of the main branches of philosophy, and I've been working in ethics my whole career and still enjoy it very much. Now, a few matters before we get to the syllabus, which is mainly what I want to do today. I have, as of yesterday evening, I printed out the 2 class rolls for my 2 ethics courses. And by the way, the 2 ethics courses will be watching the same video. So everything will be the same for you, whichever section you're in. There are 39 people enrolled in the 2 sections total. 8 of the 39 have listed on my class roll philosophy as either a major or a minor. So it is a course in philosophy. It's taught by a philosopher, me. It's offered by the philosophy department, but of course it's not limited to students who want to major or minor in philosophy. I thought it simply may be of interest to you. If your major is not philosophy, if your minor is not philosophy, don't worry. You're perfectly fine. In fact, I went through the class rolls just to give you a sense of the diversity of the students in this class as far as their majors are concerned. We have at least 1 major from each of the following fields, according to my class rolls: economics, university studies, nursing, business administration, computer science, philosophy, anthropology, social work, industrial engineering, finance, management, political science, history, psychology, information systems, mechanical engineering, architecture, communication studies, interior design, biology, English, communication studies, actually I mentioned that already, and mathematics. So we have representatives here of what are called the hard sciences, like biology. We have representatives from mathematics, and we have representatives from social sciences, such as psychology. So we have people from the various professions: nursing, engineering, and so on. So ordinarily, I would say, if we were in the classroom, I would say that I'm looking forward to classroom discussions from students who come from so many different areas. But unfortunately, with this medium of teaching online, we won't be able to have any person-to-person discussions that I typically have in the classroom. You are welcome to use email to communicate with me. I encourage it. If you have a question at any time in the course about what we've covered, or about something that you read, or something I said in a video, please send me an email. I check my UTA email at least once every day, sometimes more than once, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As soon as I get your message and think about it, I'll send you a reply. So feel free to make use of it. It's going to have to be a substitute for classroom discussions and also office hours. Typically, in a normal semester, I would be in my office for a certain amount of time each week. and students could stop in and chat or ask questions. So everything will be done online this semester, as you know. I chose what's called asynchronous teaching. Synchronized teaching would be where everyone has to tune in at the same time. I think they're called Zoom, or perhaps there are other ways to do it. I chose this format instead because I think it respects our schedules better. I can lecture when it's convenient for me, and you can watch my lectures when it's convenient for you. So we don't all have to get together at the same time, if you will. So the way I view it, there are both advantages and disadvantages to this online teaching format. I'm not sure whether the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, but it's what we have. As they say, it is what it is, and we're going to make the best of it. I'm going to do my best to help you understand the material for the course the same way I would in the classroom. And as I said, we can communicate by email back and forth. If I have something important to say to you, I can always say it either on video, as I'm doing now, and there will be 2 videos posted every week, or I can send a mass email to the students. And I did that yesterday. I hope you got my email yesterday, kind of giving you a heads up that the course would be starting today and giving you an idea of how it will be conducted. So let me say a few more words about these class roles. Not only is there a diversity among you in terms of your major or background or career plans, but there's an interesting breakdown in terms of grade status or grade level. Some of you are seniors, for example. Some of you are listed as juniors and so on. Of the 39 people who have enrolled in the 2 courses, 13 are listed as seniors. 13 out of 39, which is exactly 1/3. 18 additional people are listed as juniors. So that's a total of 31 people out of 39 who are what we could call upperclassmen or women, either seniors or juniors. 8 people are listed as sophomores and 0 are listed as freshmen. Now, what's interesting about all of this is strictly speaking, a sophomore level course. We in our department have 1,000 level courses, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000. So a 2,000 level course like this one is kind of pitched at freshmen and sophomores. That doesn't mean you can't take it if you're a junior or a senior. It's just that the course is taught at a certain level. We don't presuppose any particular background. We don't assume that you've had any philosophy courses at all. If you have, that's great, but if you haven't, that's also okay. So if you're a junior or a senior, you're welcome to take the course. I'm glad you're here. If you have that grade level, then you've been around the block. You've taken a lot of courses by now. You probably have developed good study habits and so forth. If you're one of the 8 sophomores, you've at least had a few courses at UTA. I assume you've had about a year's worth of coursework. And so by now you should have a feel for what's required of you and how to go about studying and so on. Okay, so enough about the class roles. Let me turn to the syllabus and say a few words about it. I'll probably keep you only 30 minutes today. I'm just guessing. Maybe it'll be longer, maybe shorter. On a typical day, I'll try to keep the lecture within an hour and 15 minutes because that's how much time we would have in the classroom, actually an hour and 20 minutes. Now keep in mind that if we were in the classroom, a certain amount of time would be taken up by discussion, which is back and forth between students and me, and maybe other students would get involved. So that would take a few minutes, maybe several minutes each class period. Since there won't be any give and take or discussion in these lectures, my standard lecture might be closer to 1 hour. Okay, so instead of an hour and 15 minutes, which is what I would keep you in the classroom, I may get through my lecture for the day in 1 hour, or an hour and 5 minutes, or something like that, or even 55 minutes. It could be less than 1 hour. So I'll let the material for that day dictate how long it takes. Some days I may be long-winded, maybe other days I'll be succinct. Okay, so let's go over the syllabus together, and I'll just emphasize a few things. You can read it as well as I can read it to you, so some of it I'll just leave to you to read. At the top of the syllabus, oh, by the way, you may be wondering, where is the syllabus? I told you in my email yesterday that the syllabus has been posted on Canvas. Canvas will be the location for all of the materials in this course, whether they're documents like the syllabus or the reading list or some handout that I've prepared for you, or the videos. When I get done recording this video today, I will upload it to YouTube, which is what I use, and then I'll transfer the link to Canvas, and I'll put the date for that lecture. So you can always have all the lectures for the course will be on Canvas by the date on which I gave those lectures. So when you go to Canvas, I don't know, maybe this is all familiar to you, but if it's not, it won't hurt for me to repeat it. When you go to Canvas, you need to find this course. If you're in my first ethics course, it's Phil 2312-001. If you're in my second ethics course, it's Phil 2312-002. So the first thing you need to do when you go to Canvas is find your course, the one you're enrolled in, and click it. Once the course opens up, you'll see on the left side of the page a number of things you can click. Click on modules, M-O-D-U-L-E-S. When you click on the word modules, it will open up a page that shows everything that's currently posted or that's been posted up to that point. It'll show the syllabus, the reading list, and after this lecture is over and I get it posted, it'll show lecture for 19 January 2021. And as I said, there will from time to time be additional handouts that I post. Whenever you go to Canvas, which you probably should check every day routinely, whenever you see something new posted in the way of a handout, print it. Print it and put it in a notebook. Now I'm going to hold up my notebook. I like to stay organized. And you can see I have a loose leaf notebook here. I have a hole punch, which you can purchase at Office Depot or many other places. You should punch holes in the handouts that I make available to you once you've printed them and put them in your notebook. You may want to have some little dividers like I have over here, syllabus, reading list, and so forth, just to stay organized. Now, if you print all of the handouts and put them in your notebook in the order in which they appeared, when it comes time to study for your exam, you'll be ready to go. You'll have everything you need there in one place for your studying, for purposes of studying. Okay, so back to the syllabus. Now that you know where to get the syllabus, at the top of the syllabus I have some basic information such as my name, my office, which really doesn't apply this semester. I don't think I've been to the campus since January or whenever the COVID restrictions kicked in a year ago. It's been almost a year since I stopped going to campus. Everything's been taught online since then. So obviously I won't be holding office hours, and you therefore don't need to know where my office is, but it's listed anyway. There's also a telephone number which rings into the department. I don't think anybody's there, so don't even bother calling that number. My email, however, works. It's kbj@uta.edu. And again, feel free to send me an email if you have a question about the course. My faculty profile is listed there. You can either copy and paste that. Well, if you're looking at the syllabus online, I believe you can just click that link and it'll take you to my faculty profile. If you have it in paper version, you can type it into the browser and take a look. Now, the reason I put that there is UTA wants all of its professors to make their profiles available to students. So when you click that, if you click it, you'll see my courses, the courses I'm teaching and have taught. You'll see my publications and things like that. Committees I serve on and so forth. Office hours, as I said earlier, will be conducted by email. Now, ordinarily, we would be meeting twice a week. This is a Tuesday, Thursday course, and ordinarily I would meet with you in person on Tuesday at a certain time, such as 8 o'clock in the morning, and then again on Thursday. And it would be for an hour and 15 minutes each time. So, since I'm doing this course asynchronously, meaning we don't have to be there at the same time, it gives me a little bit of freedom. I have many other things to do besides teach my courses, as I'm sure you do. And so all I will promise you is that I will post 2 lectures each week. 2, let's call them 1-hour lectures. 2 lectures each week. Which days I post them on, it will vary, frankly. I'm doing this lecture on Tuesday. I may well put the second lecture for this week up tomorrow. In fact, I think I will. I'll try to get it up tomorrow. So your 2 lectures this week will happen to be on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I think I said this earlier. As soon as I get a lecture posted, I will send a mass email so that you will now know, okay, when I go to Canvas, the lecture will be there. You won't waste your time going to Canvas several times to see whether the lecture is there. Okay? Don't go to Canvas until you get my email, and then you'll know it's there. It'll be more efficient for you. Now, there may be weeks, maybe next week, your 2 lectures will be posted on Tuesday and Thursday. There may even be weeks when your 2 lectures are posted on, let's say, Wednesday and Friday, or Thursday and Friday. I think in the past semester, in the fall, there were a couple of occasions in which I posted a lecture on a Saturday or a Sunday. I was running behind. I had some other things to do that kept me from lecturing, but I did get them up over the weekend. So I promise you, I will get 2 lectures up for you every week, and I'll notify you by email when they're posted. Okay, now the next item on the syllabus is a course description. You can see a fancy diagram. Read that over on your own. It gives you a sense of where ethics fits into philosophy. Ethics is a very old and very important branch of philosophy, but there are other branches, and I want you to see how things are situated or connected. Also, within the field of ethics, there are different sub-branches, different parts of ethics. And we're going to be focusing in this course on what's called normative ethics, specifically theoretical normative ethics. What we will be doing in here is examining a number of normative ethical theories. For example, utilitarianism. Now, you may have heard of this. Let me give you a thumbnail sketch just so you can see what kind of things we'll be doing in here. Utilitarians believe that what makes an action right or wrong is its consequences. So whether it's right or wrong to tell a lie to somebody on a particular occasion depends solely on the consequences of telling that lie on that occasion. And if the consequences of telling that lie are better overall than the consequences of not telling that lie, then it's the right thing to do. According to utilitarianism, it can be right to lie. In fact, it can be obligatory to lie, such that if you don't lie, you're acting wrongly. Now, that may shock you and surprise you, but that is one of the most prominent theories of ethics. It's been around a long time. Some of you may be pleased to hear that. Some of you may already think that sometimes it's a good thing or a right thing to lie to somebody. We call them little white lies, where strictly speaking, you're lying to somebody, but it's harmless, right? It smooths things over. Or when you tell a little white lie, you're doing so to comfort someone or prevent someone's feelings from being hurt. So some of you may already believe that lying is sometimes permissible, morally permissible. If so, then you may find the utilitarian way of thinking perfectly congenial. Later in the course, when we get to a theory called Kantianism, which is named after Immanuel Kant, Kant took a very different view of lying. You'll see that, according to Kant, lying is always wrong, without any exceptions. Kant would even oppose telling someone a little white lie in order to prevent someone's feelings from being hurt. Kant was an absolutist about lying. He believed that it's always disrespectful to the person to tell a lie to him or her. So there you have it. Just one issue, lying, and you can see that two different theories, utilitarianism and Kantianism, give different results. They give different verdicts on the moral correctness or rightness of lying. Now, there are other theories we'll be examining as well, such as egoism. And actually, we're going to be looking at two kinds of utilitarianism, what's called act utilitarianism and what's called rule utilitarianism. So, my goal in this course is not to brainwash you in any way. My aim in this course is not to indoctrinate you. I'm not going to try to make you into a utilitarian or a Kantian or anything else. I have my own views about ethics, as everyone does, but it's not my job as your instructor to try to put my view into you. It's not to try to persuade you of anything. My goal is to help you understand all of these theories. Which of them you personally choose to live by, if any, is entirely up to you. And I don't much care which theory you end up endorsing or subscribing to. So let's agree that you will not try to find out what my theory is, and I won't try to find out what yours is, or try to persuade you to endorse any particular theory. I take this whole thing very seriously. There's a big difference between educating someone and indoctrinating someone. I'm an educator. I'm not an indoctrinator. So don't worry that I'm going to be bullying or indoctrinating or brainwashing or duping or hoodwinking or any of those other terms that you see bandied about. Okay, turn the page. We have just a few more things and we'll be done. There's a paragraph on course materials. Now there's one book for the course. It's a book, and let me show you my copy. You see that? It's Fred Feldman. He's still alive and still, I believe, still teaching. He's an old man now. This book was published in 1978, which is 43 years ago. It's entitled Introductory Ethics. It was published by Prentice Hall in 1978. This book was never rewritten. It was never published in a second or third edition. This is all there is, this one edition. And sadly, I discovered recently that this book is out of print. That means they're not making any more. I believe it was in print up until a year ago. But now when I went to the Prentice Hall website, it just said out of print. Now there are what are called used book markets. Can I put this down now? All right. There are used book markets. There have been so many of these books sold over the years, over 43 years, that there should be lots of them floating around out there and for sale as used books. In fact, I assumed that that would be the case when I assigned this. That was the case a year ago. But a student wrote to me recently and said that when he went to Amazon.com, the only used versions he could find were, get this, over $500. Now that's just laughable. Nobody's going to pay that for a used book. Even if it were a used copy of some famous book, most people wouldn't pay it. So what do? I want to use this book. I happen to have a scanned version of this book. I think many years ago I scanned it chapter by chapter. So since it's out of print, I'm going to post each chapter of this book on Canvas prior to our discussing that chapter. If the publisher doesn't like that, well, we'll talk about it. The publisher and I will talk about it. I'll say, we want to use this book. This book is no longer in print. Either we stop using it and um, the author will not be able to spread the gospel, or we'll continue to use it because it's out of print. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to post the chapters for you. You will not have to buy it. If you've already purchased it, maybe you can get your money back, or maybe you'll be content with what you paid and happy to keep it. So let me just say, don't bother buying the book. I'm going to post the chapters one by one as we go. I've already posted chapter 1, which is the chapter we'll be starting on this week in my second lecture, probably tomorrow. So one of the things you need to do before you watch my next lecture is read the 2 sections of chapter 1 that we will be covering. And those 2 sections are listed on the reading list, which I'll talk about in just a couple of minutes. Okay, that's it. One book, Feldman, and now you know where to get it or how to read the chapters of it. By the way, you're free to print the chapters as you see them posted, or I suppose you could read them online, whichever is your preference. I would recommend printing them so that when you read them, you can write in the margins of the printout and underline and so forth. I like to do that. In fact, you can see my book is just filled with highlighting of various colors, underlining, notes in the margins, the whole book. Okay? And that's, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I like to actually have a pen in my hand when I'm reading something. Okay, let's move on to the next item, course requirements on page 2 of the syllabus. There are in this course only 3 graded items in their examinations, 3 exams. The first exam comes about 1/3 of the way through the course. We'll simply pause for one of our class periods and you will take an exam on Canvas. The second exam comes about 2/3 of the way through the course, and the third exam comes at the end of the course. So if you want, you can call them first exam, second exam, third exam. If you want to call the third one the final exam, you may do so, but keep in mind it's no longer or more difficult, and it doesn't cover any more material than the other exams. It's just final in the sense that it's the last one you take in the course. Now the exams will consist of 10, each exam that you take will consist of 10 true-false questions, each of which is worth 1 point, and 30 multiple-choice questions, each of which is worth 3 points. So when you add 10 to 90, you get 100 points. Each exam, therefore, is worth 100 points, for a total of 300 points in the course. I will assign grades on the basis of a 10% scale. So you need 270 points out of 300 to get an A in this course. It's very clear cut. Your responsibility, if you want an A, is to rack up 270 or more points on the 3 exams. Suppose you get 85 on the first exam. You still have a chance to get an A, but you're going to have to make up the 5 points on the other exams. By the same token, if you got a 95 on the first exam, you should not at all think that you're going to get an A in the course, because you're only 5 points to the good. And you may end up getting a poor grade on one or both of the other exams that will bring you down below 270. So you need 270 to get an A, 240 points to get a B, 210 points to get a C, and so on. It's all very clear. You should be able to monitor your progress as you go. Once you get a score in the first exam, you will now know what you need on the other 2 exams to get a certain grade. The 3 dates of the exams are chosen already. They're listed not only on the second page of the syllabus, but they're all listed on the reading list. So it's very important that you today, right now, pause this video and get your calendar out. You by now, as an adult, should have a calendar. And on that calendar should be things like dental appointments and various other important dates in your life, anniversaries. You need to put the 3 exams on your calendar. And that way, when you're looking at your calendar, you will see them and you won't let something else come up to conflict with them. Okay? So you will be taking your exam on that day. When I uh, when I put the exam on Canvas, there will be only a certain amount of time for you to go in and take that exam. And it will be on the days I've chosen. So you've got to make sure nothing comes up to conflict with those exam dates. Okay, there's a paragraph on attendance policy, which really doesn't apply when you're doing online teaching. So just read it over. Mainly, I'm doing my duty here. The university has an attendance policy, which is basically let each professor determine his or her own attendance policy. So I wanted to make sure I put something about attendance in my syllabus, even though it doesn't apply with online teaching. And there's a paragraph on grading, which I've already gone over. The rest of the syllabus underneath the heading, what follows is university boilerplate. The rest of the syllabus is material that professors are asked to include in their syllabi by the university. So the rest of it is material that I didn't write or put there, but I put there because the university asked me to. It covers things like sources of information, if you want to know about the drop policy, that tells you where to go to find out. There's a paragraph on mandatory face coverings, which doesn't apply because we're not on campus this semester, at least I'm not. There's a paragraph about attendance, which I just mentioned. And there's a paragraph on student success programs. So the university, as you probably know, does a great deal to help students succeed. There are various programs, websites designed to help you learn, and you should take advantage of that. It's all mentioned on the boilerplate part of my syllabus. Okay, a few more minutes. Let's take a look at the reading list for the course. It has also been posted now for a couple of weeks. The reading list goes on for 2 pages. It's broken down by chapter, so you'll see near the top of the first page, 1 period, morality and ethics, 1 day. Now what does that mean? That means it's chapter 1. The title of chapter 1 of the book by Fred Feldman is Morality and Ethics. It's an introductory chapter explaining what ethics is. And the 1 day part is me talking. What I'm telling you is we're going to spend 1 day on that. And that probably will be tomorrow. I'm going to try to get through those 2 sections of the chapter in my next lecture, probably tomorrow. So we're going to have to get right to it tomorrow and get through it. Now, chapter 1 has more sections than we're going to cover. I'm going to cover only 2 of the sections of chapter 1. The section entitled The Philosophical Study of Morality, and the section entitled The Value of Moral Philosophy. So all you need to read for the next lecture are those 2 sections. So if you haven't purchased the book, go to Canvas as soon as you can, find chapter 1 of Feldman that I've posted, print it, and read it. Read those 2 sections carefully. Then, when you come and watch my video lecture tomorrow, or whenever you watch it, it could be this weekend, right? That's up to you. Whenever you watch it, you will have already read the material on your own and struggled with it. My lecture will, I hope, make it clearer or make sense of it for you. So think of Feldman and me as your teachers, right? Feldman is our main source of information, and I view it as my objective to help you understand Feldman. And my exams will test the depth and breadth of your understanding of the material that we'll be covering this semester. So the main thing you need to do is watch my videos carefully, making notes as you go, and read the material carefully, making notes as you go. When the exams come along, when the next exam comes along, you will get out your lecture notes. I assume you will be reviewing the chapters of the book that were covered, and you will be watching or re-watching my videos. Okay? And then you will go in and take the exam and see how well you do. The nice thing about the exams on Canvas is that while it takes a lot of work for me to post the exams there, they're graded automatically. I used to have to take my exams home or to my office and grade them manually, and it took a while. It took hours. So I like the idea of having students take their exams on Canvas. It makes my life a little bit easier. In fact, when you get done with the exam, it should show you your score out of 100. So when you answer the final question, you should see that you got 93 out of 100 or 82 or 70. Whatever your score is, you will know it right away. Okay, so there's the reading list. You can see it's all broken down. Some of the chapters will be covered in their entirety. Other chapters, like chapter 1, will omit certain sections. So what I have listed here is every section of the book that we will be covering in the order in which we will be covering them. And you can see that the examination dates are in there as well. So the first exam will cover chapters 1, 2, and 3. The second exam will cover chapters 4, 5, and 6. Not necessarily all of those chapters, but parts of each of those 3 chapters. And the third exam at the end of the course will cover chapters 7, 8, and 9. So the course will be divided up into 3 chunks, if you will, and you will be tested on each of the 3 chunks separately. The third exam is not comprehensive, nor is the second exam. Each exam will cover its own chunk of material. Okay, I think that's it for today. How long? It's been 36 minutes. It went a little longer than I thought it would be. So until the next lecture is posted, which is probably tomorrow, you should go to Canvas, print out the reading list and the syllabus, print out the chapter 1, read the 2 sections of that chapter that you need for the first lecture, and then when you're ready, go watch the video. So until the next lecture, I'm going to let you go now. I'll see you on the video screen or on the computer screen probably sometime tomorrow. Wait for the email to come in telling you that the video has been posted. Okay, see you then.